How are you guys? I've been missing y'all. But anyway, it's Motivational Monday. Wake up, wake up. And I am your host, Janice Lestar Simmons. I'm a survivor, a breaker of chains, and an advocate against domestic violence. While I'm speaking about that, let me give you that number. It's 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Okay? Now, not only women need that number for help when they're in a domestic violence situation, there's also men. They go through that silently because men are not too quick to report if they're having an issue and their wife or their girlfriend or, someone is secretly abusing them. Then they wouldn't report it as quickly as a woman would. But jot that number down. If you know of someone who may need it, pass it on to them, okay? That's the domestic violence hotline number, 1-800-799-SAFE. All right. Again, I'm your host, and it's Motivational Monday. How are you guys? I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I've been enjoying this month. I don't know if you heard, if you know, but this is my birthday month. My birthday was June 1st, and the whole month is mine. I just do things that make me happy. I spend it with my girlfriends. I spend it with my friends, all that good stuff. It's Motivational Monday, and I'm here to talk to you about breaking the generational curse. I'm breaking a generational curse in my family for high blood pressure and sugar diabetes, and I'm beginning with me. Many people may be on medication for high blood pressure, maybe for sugar diabetes. High blood pressure is the silent killer. That one is a bit more difficult to detect than sugar diabetes. You may have, I don't want to say anger issues, but if the least little thing pisses you off, where you're over the top, you might have high blood pressure. I suggest you get a physical. Get yourself a physical so you can determine what your vitals are. I remember there was a time when the least little thing would bother me. Oh my God, I would lose my mind. Say my children would, this might bother you too. I used to love my cereal. I'm sorry I did. But I go to get me some cereal, and there's it's not enough to fill a small bowl. It's like, why did you leave these crumbs up here? That used to make me go over the top. Or the cereal is fine, but then there's a wedge of milk, a little cap full spills on your cereal. I used to lose my mind over that. And I had no clue for years that I had high blood pressure. And I knew it ran in the family. My father had it. I found out I had it, and once I allowed them to give me medication, because I didn't even want to take the medication at first. Like, you ain't giving me that. Y'all ain't getting me stuck on no medication. When I'm advocating for me, honey, I'm advocating. But anyway, I didn't want to take it. I wanted to try on my own to do something. And what I was trying to do, I was trying to eat healthy. I was trying to be active. I was trying to hydrate. But with all that trying, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't practicing any of those things. So by the time I went back to the doctor, everything was higher than before. And I remember them putting me in the dark. It was like they took my pressure twice. First, the assistant, she took my pressure. And then the doctor came in there and he took my pressure. And then he turned around and got another machine and took my pressure. And then he said, I want you to lay here and in the dark. He said, and I'm going to come back and take your pressure again. And I laid there for maybe 15, 20 minutes. So he came back in there to do the pressure. And they was like, are you okay? My pressure was mad high. I think it was 201 over something. They wanted to hospitalize me. And that time, they wouldn't take no for an answer with giving me medication, you know. So I agreed. I had to agree because I was scared, you know. I was really scared. But I used to lose it over small things. Anyway, I let them give me some medication. The first one didn't work well for me. You know, I got the prescription filled. I didn't make it back to the house yet. I'm going to the supermarket. And I had a friend with me. And I turned around. I took the medication. We went into the supermarket and I almost passed out. It was, I don't know if it was too strong. It was just, it wasn't for me. We didn't work good together. So I didn't want to take any more. I had to go back and sit in the car. They were like, you go wait in the car. Let me do the shopping, you know. So I told my doctor and let her know, hey, that's not good. That doesn't work. I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it. And the doctor sent me over another prescription. And that one worked better for me, you know. But they turned around and sent me home with a monitor that I had to keep on my arm for 24 hours, that while I'm driving or something, it would start, you know, taking my pressure. And it's like, you can't move much or it reads error. But this is something that they wanted to have the information to at the, you know, at the clinic. They wanted to be able to monitor me from where they were throughout the day. And I'm driving and it's like, oh, I'm trying not to move because it's stiff on my arm. And if I move too much while I'm driving, oh my God. Anyway, I tried to apply those things again. But this time, since I was on medication, I was more disciplined with myself. I made sure I drank my water. I made sure I was active and exercised and walked. I made sure that I ate healthier than what I was trying to do before. And it worked. I mean, it took some time. I was doing it for a while and it took some time. And then eventually they lowered my milligrams because at the time I was on 20 milligrams of lisinopril, and they lowered it to 10 milligrams, you know, and because when I came back, I had a much, much better reading, but they still didn't want to take me off. I wanted to get off. I don't want to be on anybody's man-made medications, but this is just my journey. I'm not telling you not to take medication. I'm telling you, I don't want to be on medication. So I continue to eat healthier, to exercise, to hydrate, you know, drink water. I drink half of my body weight in water on a daily basis. I drink tea. I'm not a sugar indulger. I do not do sugar. I'm not going to say I don't do it at all, because as far as adding sugar to my stuff, no, I don't add sugar to my stuff. In fact, I even started making my own ice cream. My daughter bought me an ice cream, a big old ice cream maker, bigger than the little one I purchased, you know. She bought me a big old ice cream maker for my birthday. It's beautiful, complicated, but it makes the best ice cream. I love my fruit. And I make the ice cream. I'm throwing some strawberries and banana. You know, you can make it the way you want to make it. I love my fruit. So yes, I throw my stuff in there. Sometimes it's blueberries, honey, and for sweetener I used organic maple syrup. But it is banging. It's good, it's healthy, it's natural. And I mean, I don't eat a whole lot of anything anymore, you know. I just want to live. That's my motto. I want to live. Some people are, you know, they live and they just feel like, well, eating what I want to eat makes me happy. Well, if you want to have a limited time here, do it your way. you know, but I want to leave a legacy for my children. And since I haven't completed my God-given mission, I need to continue on. I have to continue on until I have glorified his name. That's just me and my calling. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not trying to make anybody do anything against their beliefs. But if you believe in God, you do have a God-given calling. Even if you don't believe in God, there is a God-given calling for you, but you choose to ignore it. You know, today I'm talking to you about becoming a healthier version of yourself. That's what's up. Now, I mean, please hit the like button, share the podcast, subscribe to the podcast. Everybody who's been with me for a while, I may have some new newbies today. If you have never seen the podcast, I want to give you a little information about getting yourself a little healthier. So if you have high blood pressure or sugar diabetes, you want to eat the right types of foods that will help your medication work for you, okay? Because the medication doesn't work properly if you're still going to gluttonize on all types of crazy foods that you know you should not be eating, okay? So if you take your medication and you're not eating properly, you're still eating a lot of carbohydrates, you're still eating a lot of sugars, that's not going to do anything. Your medication, your diet, not going to do much work. It's going to try. I have sugar diabetes. I was considered borderline at one point, but they don't even say that anymore. Now, the reason they tried to get me on the medication was because my father was diabetic. And I also used to have gestational diabetes every pregnancy. But I have not become a diabetic. And I've been eating a certain way for years since I knew my father was diabetic, where he said what foods he couldn't have. I made sure that if I was having those foods for a meal out of the day, I wouldn't double up on the carbohydrates throughout the day. That would be my carb for the day, you know. So, and I try to eat out of a bowl. A small bowl, not a big plate. I used to eat out of a plate and I can pile that plate up as high as I want. No, I eat out of a bowl and I eat multiple times in the day. And plus I'm active, you know, you want to be active. You want to get rid of that waste. What I do, it's called intermittent fasting, and I eat in an 8-hour window. And then for 16 hours, I don't eat anything. But that can be like from, say, 7 p.m. at night. I don't eat anything because I'm going to go to sleep. You know, 8 hours of sleep at least. That's included in there. And then another 8 hours of not eating anything. I can drink water. I can drink tea during that time. If you drink coffee, you're a coffee drinker, you can have your coffee. Don't put sugar in there and don't put any cream. But otherwise, while you're during your fasting period, you're only doing a liquid and it cannot be any added sugars in there. So I've been doing this for like, I want to say 2 years. It may be longer than 2 years. I've been doing this forever, ever. That's what it feels like. But I'm about to change it because I'm like at a standstill with my weight. I don't mind my weight. I like my weight. But I want to tighten up a little more. And I don't do strenuous exercise. I walk mainly, and then I do some squats, and I don't want to do sit-ups, but I need to do something for this tummy. But yeah, I need to do some leg lifts, something to tighten this tummy. But I'm going to also be doing, instead of eating for 8 hours and fasting for 16, I'm going to make it where I'm eating for 6 hours and fasting for 18 hours. I'm going to change it and see if I see a shift in my size. And I've been lifting arm weights. I've been walking outside. I walk outside and I use my hand weights outside. and my little ankle weights. I got some weights that you like put around your ankles, Velcro around your ankles and whatnot. It's not heavy. It's like 5 pounds a foot, 5 pounds each leg, and this is just stuff for me because of what I want to see, what I'm working on me. But I'm sharing my journey with you guys. I need you to know that I am not a doctor. I'm not talking to you about this stuff and wanting you to stop speaking with your doctor or to follow me and not your doctor. By all means, follow what your doctor is telling you to do. I'm just sharing my journey with you and sharing how I'm becoming a healthier version of myself at this beautiful golden age. So, I mean, anything is doable if you put your mind to it and your heart into it and consistency to it, behind it and for it, in it. You want to just live. That's my goal. I want to live. And if me eating healthy, hydrating, keeping active, and taking my medication is going to keep me here a bit longer so I can complete what it is God has for me to do. Because say I don't do any of that, right? And now the time comes that, the blessings are going to start pouring in. But I don't have the health to enjoy it because I have not been taking care of myself. Can you imagine that? Say my books are getting published and I want to do a book signing, but I can't even greet the people and speak to people because I'm feeling so worn down and tired and exhausted because of my health. No, I don't want that. I want to enjoy everything, all the blessings God has for me. And in order to do that is to start now by taking care of yourself. Well, I started, but I mean, for you, in order to enjoy your blessings, you have to start now. You really have to start now. Take these things seriously, and consistency is key. You have to be consistent with what you're doing, what positive things you are doing. You need to be consistent with those, okay? Now, for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the Brave Stars podcast. And you can watch the podcast on YouTube, or you can listen in on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Good Pods. And I'm just here to try and help you guys to see that there are ways to help take care of yourself, help get healthier, get better. Okay, now I was going to say, my newbies, in case you have no clue on what you should be eating to help in lowering your blood pressure and your sugar levels, and they also help build your immune system, would be green vegetables. Green vegetables can consist of broccoli, string beans, peas, okra, asparagus. Green leafy vegetables also, that would be spinach, lettuce, collard greens, kale, turnip greens, arugula, cabbage, things to that nature. Any kind of green vegetable. Try and eat more vegetables than you eat meat, because the body takes a very long time to digest meats, okay? So try eating more of that. Then you can have fruits. You definitely want to include fruits. Fruits are antioxidants. They help with your skin. They help with your kidneys. Oh my goodness. Bananas is a fruit that can help lower your pressure. I want to say instantly, but it's not quite instantly, but within 15 minutes to a half an hour, your pressure will be lowered. Foods that can help lower your blood pressure quickly would be bananas, beets, ginger, dark chocolate, the one that's like 70% to 90% cocoa, anywhere in between there. It's not a sweet chocolate, but it's a chocolate that can help in lowering your blood pressure. Not just fruits, but foods, I should say, okay? And foods that help you, like help cleanse your kidneys and stuff like that. Watermelon, that's good. It's a watery fruit. It helps also with your water intake. You don't want to OD on watermelon because it does have a lot of sugar in it. But it's natural sugars. It's not those processed sugars. And I was told something about watermelon seeds. I mean, I eat papaya seeds. Those are weird, sour, like, flavor, but they're supposed to help cleanse your colon. So if you should ever need a cleanse, try that. Soursop, that's a fruit that it's really hard to get to, but you can order some soursop leaves and make tea with it. Now, this is so potent that they're telling you that you should not drink this soursop tea more frequently than twice in a month. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it every day. If you're going to drink it, you could do it like maybe 3 days in a row. And then again, within that month, 2 to 3 days in a row. Because what it does is it's supposed to help prevent cancer. I don't want to say kill cancer because that's what they said, but I'm saying prevent. We're talking in a stage where we don't have these things and we want to prevent having them. Cancer is, say, alkaline. In order for you to counteract that, you would do the soursop tea from the leaves of the soursop. Now, you can also make a smoothie like the supermarkets. On this end, I'm on the north side, On this end, they don't have that fruit growing out here because this is a cold state that I'm in. What they do have is pulp, soursop pulp in grocery markets. So you can turn around and buy some of the pulp and make smoothies. Again, you don't want to do it every day. You can do it maybe 3 times in a week. 6 times, I'd say, the most in the month, But don't mess up your insides trying to just go straight with it. Unless you do have cancer and you're trying to work on taking care of that. But again, like I said, I am not a doctor. So don't do too much experimenting with yourself without making sure you're getting a physical and your doctor is approving some of what you're doing after testing your vitals, I just love talking to y'all. As you can see, I just love talking to y'all. But I share what I learn, and I just think that it's good to help other people work on being a healthier, better version of themselves. All right? I just love talking to you guys. But I gotta go. So, enjoy your wonderful Monday. Motivational Monday. And until next time, later, Gators.